Hi viewers, I'm Purple Celery. Welcome back to my channel. Hope that everyone is having a wonderful holiday season. Today I'm going to be reviewing the 2023 Doctor Who Christmas special, The Church on Ruby Road. And my apologies for being a little bit late to the party here. I've been travelling for a few days and only just got back last night. I'll kick off by talking about the new companion, Ruby, because she kind of takes centre stage for the first part of the episode. I really like her as a companion. She's bright, she's bubbly, she's curious, she can think on her feet. We do of course have the mystery of who her parents are, where they are, why they can't be found, why she was left at the church, but I felt that those questions didn't overshadow her as a person. As a general comment, I feel like companions work best when they're just companions and not plot devices. For example, for me, Clara became way more interesting, I guess somewhat ironically, once she stopped being the impossible girl and was just Clara. The one thing that I will say about Ruby is that she actually makes me feel a bit old because she's so young. Up until now, most of the companions, give or take a few years, have kind of been within my rough peer group range. Okay, maybe like Yaz and Ryan were more like my younger cousins, younger siblings, but Ruby is the first companion who I realised, oh my gosh, I'm old enough to be her mum. Moving on to Ncuti Gatwa. So this was his first proper episode, and look, I really like his doctor. This is a doctor who enjoys being in his body, enjoys having fun. We saw this in the scenes, for example, in the club at the start where he was dancing, the scene where he was jumping over the rooftops. I also really love his long leather coat. That is an awesome piece of costume right there. I felt there was real chemistry between the Doctor and Ruby. I also like the scene where Ruby's mum was talking about fostering all of those children, and I kind of felt there were parallels between her fostering the kids and the Doctor taking on the companions. By my count, Ruby should be the 38th regular companion of all the Doctors. So it would have been nice in some ways if Lulu Bell had been the 38th child that Ruby's mum had fostered, as opposed to the 33rd child. But, you know, other than that, I thought it was like a nice parallel. I also like how the timeless child aspect isn't just being ignored or swept under the carpet. It is still there, it is still being acknowledged, and I'm okay with that. Moving on to the goblins, the villains of this episode. For me, they were a bit of a mixed bag. On one hand, yes, they were devious little critters who made fairly good villains, but there was lots of them that I felt wasn't really explained. I mean, were they actual goblins or were they aliens of some sort? And also, how do they go back in time and kidnap baby Ruby? Because the Doctor says they're not actual time travellers. They just, I can't recall the exact phrase, but he mentioned that they sort of like tinker around the edges of time or something like that. So I would have liked to have known more about the actual goblins. I also had some issues with the whole goblin song scene. The lead singer had such a lovely human voice, and it just felt out of kilter with this evil little goblin, because the other goblins had sort of like high-pitched, rougher voices, and it just kind of felt a bit out of kilter. On a similar note, it was also a little bit too convenient how the Doctor and Ruby could just sort of jump in and start singing so perfectly, coming up with lyrics that rhymed on the spot the way they did. Maybe it would have been a little bit more plausible if in the earlier scenes at the club we would have seen Ruby as the lead singer and not just the keyboardist. But, you know, it was just a little bit jarring for me, that bit. And also, the big question for me was, one tiny baby is not enough to go around for hundreds and hundreds of goblins. I mean, it's not even enough to feed the big giant chief goblin. I just didn't know why they were making such a fuss about the baby when, yeah, it's barely like a morsel, just a tiny scrap of food when you think about it. I also wondered why the Doctor didn't confront the person who left baby Ruby at the church. I'm thinking maybe that was because the Doctor didn't want to risk interfering and changing the course of Ruby's life again. But on the other hand, it just felt out of whack with the Doctor's character, because he's basically like a curious guy. So it just felt a bit strange how he just like watched the person walk off without confronting them or chasing after them or I don't know, just taking any steps to find out more about who they were and about who Ruby was. And finally we have the mystery of Pink Puffer Jacket Lady, Ruby's neighbour. Who is she? Because clearly she like knows what a TARDIS is. It's implied that she's been inside as well and she knows what the score is here. So who is she? I mean, maybe she's like an older version of Ruby, but I'm also thinking her accent sounds different, so I'm discounting that theory. Maybe she's Ruby's gran, perhaps, or maybe she's like a future companion who the Doctor and us as the viewers haven't met yet. Very curious. Overall, for me, the church on Ruby Road was good festive fun, but I kind of felt it was like a little bit over the top and not enough things were explained. Funnily enough, for me in some ways, the more powerful scenes were the quieter, serious parts, like the one where Ruby's mum in the alternate timeline was all bitter and disappointed and was, yeah, not really a fan of fostering baby Lulu Bell. Anyway, these are just my thoughts. I would love to hear what you guys think. I'd probably give this maybe like a 6.5 out of 10. But what do you guys think? Please leave your comments in the comment section below. Give this a like. Please subscribe to my channel if you haven't already. And I will see you when the proper series of Doctor Who starts up again, which is going to be in the northern spring and the southern autumn. So until then, take care. This is Purple Celery over and out. Thanks for watching.